Imagine stepping into the misty tobacco fields of 1780s Virginia, where the elite hid secrets darker than the night sky. What if one man's quest for eternal legacy twisted into something so forbidden it shattered an entire dynasty? That's the chilling path we're about to walk, uncovering a web of lies that stayed buried for centuries. But hold on, rumors say this tale, whispered in old courtrooms, might hold clues to how power corrupted even the most refined souls. Back in the turbulent autumn of 1776, as the revolution raged and Virginia planters scrambled to secure their fortunes, Jonathan Caldwell stood out like a shadow among flames. A towering figure with steel-gray eyes and a mind sharper than any blade, he ruled over Mill Haven, a sprawling 3,000-acre empire built on tobacco gold and shrewd deals. Widowed just months before independence was declared, Jonathan had no heirs, and that gnawed at him like a persistent thorn. His late wife from the prestigious Harrison line had elevated his status, but now, with war disrupting everything, he saw opportunity in the chaos. Reports claim he backed the Patriots not for freedom's sake, but to rewrite rules in his favor, snapping up ruined lands and forging ties with French traders. Yet beneath this facade of prosperity lurked a deeper void, the fear of his bloodline fading, his estate splintered among greedy cousins. Ancestral letters, it's been said, drilled into him the mantra that wealth divided was wealth doomed. Then came that fateful November storm, pounding the Richmond road like judgment from above. Jonathan's overseer, a loyal shadow named Samuel, burst in with news of a wrecked carriage. Quality folk, he called them. The driver and a couple gone in the crash, but a girl, around 10 or 11, survived, tossed into the bushes like forgotten baggage. Elizabeth Hartwell, she said her name was, refined accent and all, clutching at memories of an Uncle Thomas. Jonathan's interest sparked not from pity but potential. Whispers from the time suggest the wreck wasn't pure accident. Some speculate hidden hands ensured the gold the family carried ended up in the right pockets. As he met her in the guest room, her resemblance to his lost wife hit him hard. Same chestnut hair, same poised gaze. This wasn't rescue. It was acquisition, a child of breeding now utterly alone, ripe for whatever plans brewed in his calculating head. By winter's grip, Jonathan had spun a masterful tale to claim her. Forged papers painted her uncle as felled by fever in distant wilds, making Jonathan her guardian by charitable decree. The county clerk, swamped in post-war mess, nodded it through without a second glance. Elizabeth, still reeling from loss, found herself woven into Mill Haven's fabric. Kind staff, fine clothes, but always under his watchful eye. He hired tutors, controlled her world, turning isolation into a cage disguised as care. Rumors floated even then about his motives, with neighbors noting how he paraded her as a ward while keeping suitors at bay. But the real game? Building dependence, planting seeds of loyalty that would bloom into something far more twisted. As years ticked by, Jonathan's grooming deepened, subtle as poison in wine. Elizabeth learned languages, ledgers, and ladylike graces, but also absorbed his sermons on family bonds that bent rules, tales of biblical patriarchs who kept legacies alive through unconventional means. He hammered home the Caldwell Creed, sacrifice everything for the name, the land. By her mid-teens, she saw him as protector, center of her universe, with no outside ties to challenge it. Speculation abounds on how he justified this internally, perhaps viewing her as a vessel for his ambitions, untouched by external loyalties. It was education with an edge, molding her not for society, but for his shadow, come spring 1784. With Elizabeth at 18 and radiating the beauty he'd cultivated, Jonathan unveiled his endgame. A distant cousin, also named Jonathan Caldwell, sought her hand to merge estates, complete with a miniature portrait that mirrored her guardian eerily. The story, a mountain tobacco baron needing refinement, while she preserved the legacy. But doubts crept in. Outdated style, identical features, vague details. Wedding prep was hushed, no grand invites, just private vows at home. Elizabeth questioned the rushed papers, the barred correspondence, sensing the air thicken with unspoken lies. Online chatter today speculates this portrait was his own, aged back, a bold ruse in an era without photos. Sleepless nights fueled her probe, and one October eve, she caught him mirroring the portrait in his study, practicing poses. The pieces slammed together, no cousin, just him, aiming to wed his daughter. Rifling his locked drawer later, she unearthed horrors, unsent inquiries about her kin, faked letters, notes on the carriage mishap that hinted at orchestrated ends for her parents. The marriage contract laid it bare, groom and father one and the same, a legal loop to hoard power and sire heirs. Shock turned to nausea. She'd been shaped from girlhood for this violation, her every kindness a step in his trap. Rumors suggest such schemes weren't unheard of in remote estates, where law bowed to wealth. Desperation birthed a plan when a traveling reverend, surname Hartley, sought shelter. Ties to her Norfolk roots confirmed her parents' fate wasn't random, and her uncle lived searching still. Armed with this, Elizabeth confronted Jonathan in his study, drawing out his confession. The wreck arranged for gold, her rescue a bonus due to that fateful likeness. He boasted of the setup, underestimating her resolve, but she memorized it all, gathering proof for a bigger strike. The wedding day dawned chaotic. November 15, 1789, in Millhaven's hall with select witnesses, lawyers, neighbors, a minister. Elizabeth, in altered heirloom silk, waited till the impediment vow, then unleashed, "I'm no Caldwell. This man ended my parents' journey for their fortune and raised me for this outrage." Documents flew, fakes, payments for the accident, plans for their twisted union, even hints of his first wife's suspicious demise via slow toxins after threats of exposure. Magistrates among guests arrested him on the spot, his denials crumbling under the weight. The trial rocked Virginia, headlines spreading north. Convicted of causing multiple untimely ends, fraud, and captivity, Jonathan swung from Richmond's gallows in 1790. Elizabeth claimed her due, found her kin in Kentucky, and channeled scars into schools for orphans, safeguards against exploitation that echoed nationwide. Speculation lingers. Did her story inspire early reforms, or were more like it buried? Mill Haven rotted, fields cursed in local lore, the Caldwell name erased. Looking back, this saga exposes how facades of piety masked rot in early America, one woman's wits toppling a titan. What if similar shadows linger in today's power plays? Drop your take below. Could you spot such a predator? Subscribe for more unearthed enigmas, hit that bell, and share if it chilled you. Remember, history's deepest cuts often hide in plain sight, waiting for the brave to reveal them.